I'm live. I'm trying to find a little way to set this phone up right because I'm on YouTube. I gotta set it up horizontal or vertical or whatever you want to call it. Vertical. Man, this is not giving me any volume. Oh, no wonder. I think I need to flip it. Okay, where's the camera? It's over this side. Jeez, I feel like an old guy. One of those old people that are like, nah, nah, where's the camera? How do I see the chat? How do I see live chat? Come on, show me that live chat. I got banned on Instagram, so I can't go live. What's up, Betty Martinez? My mother's name was Betty. Betty Jane. Elizabeth. Betty for short. But any Elizabeth I meet, they never want to be called Betty. They'd rather be Liz. What's up, Eric? So I wanted to go live and just hang out and talk to you guys. I ask questions if you want. I started getting some knives. I bought one knife. This was the first one I got. Just a regular, it's a classic Buck 110 is what it's called. And it's like a pocket knife. It's pretty sweet. Got this for, the woods. When I go up to Oregon to visit my dad, my family, I could have a pocket knife. And then once I got it, I was like, damn, well, it takes a while to open. If I'm ever in a pinch, such sticky situation, this knife isn't really appropriate. So then I got this one, which is like a little faster one. Ha! Cut some apples. And then I got this, and it was fun. I was just making music, closing it, opening. I was like, dude, this is fun. And then I started watching YouTube videos about knives and stuff. I struggle not going broke from buying American knives. Right? Liberals are triggered. Probably. And then I got this one for like picnics. You know what I'm saying? For on a little picnic date or something, and you're with your girl. You got the blanket all set out. You're sitting there, and you go, ha! And she's all, oh! And you go, oh, would you like some cheese, my dear? And you chop some aged Gouda. Here you are, little cleaver action. This one was only $20. I wanted to get a cheap knife so that I can screw it up, Because these other knives were more expensive, and I don't want to ruin the blades and do dumb stuff with them. Not that I'm going to do dumb stuff, but, cutting boxes or, I don't know. I just wanted to get a cheaper knife. I'll just leave it at that. But it's not bad for $20, man. This thing is pretty sweet. It doesn't feel cheap. It doesn't feel like $20. Hell yeah. So I realized that, like before I was in the music industry and focusing on my career and all that stuff, I was just a kid, and my life was so simple and so easy, and I didn't really think too much about the world and what I'm supposed to do and how I'm supposed to. Wow, it just got Gare. Well, you just got banned again. How about that? I don't know how to ban in the live chat, but you will be banned. But when I was a kid, it was such an easy. Life was so easy, man. And until like the world comes and tries to tell you to be intellectual and I realize that everything talks to us. And like in science, right? I watched some videos like a double light slit experiment where they had these two slits in the wall and they shine light and the photons went through it. And when they observed the photons, they went through one hole. And when they didn't observe it, they went through both holes. It was at the end of the day, I can't, say exactly what it was, but at the end of the video and the conclusion of it was that anything that is observed changes just because it was observed. And so I realized that because of that, like, we're always observing ourselves, like when I go live right now, I'm being observed, and then that changes. It has the potential to change me because I could be. It's like I'm observed, and then I'm observing myself being observed, and it creates this like fractal of like change, and it just trips me out because, yeah, I don't know, I don't know how to explain it. So I realized that thoughts in my head and having an opinion and all that kind of stuff makes me question myself or think or all those things. And when you're a kid, you don't think like that. You just kind of exist and you have fun and you do what you do, and then the world trains it out of you that you gotta like, you know, parents will always say, or people, society will always say, hey, you gotta think before you say something. Hey, you gotta think about that. You gotta think about what you did. All kind of stuff. When, like in my experience, man, now I realize that thinking is like, it's in a life or death situation. You don't have time to think. All you can do is act. And like, when certain things happen in life, I'm sure we all have felt that. We're in a situation, and we just we're in like in the zone, and we just like do what we got to do, and we made the right choice, and I think that that's the place to be in life, is to always be in that zone. And I'm realizing that it really comes down to awareness of me, awareness of my surroundings, and just awareness in general. Because as a musician, I would be in my head a lot, and I grew up in like a dysfunctional house, and so I started creating music and stuff, and I wasn't aware that I was doing it because of that. But now that I can reflect and look back, I can see that I lived in my head a lot, because I keep looking at the camera over here, but the camera's over there. I had to like angle it. I lived in my head, and so now I'm like kind of reversing that, and it's pretty awesome. Because as an artist, and I think a lot of artists, and I think everybody's an artist at heart, because art is subjective. Whatever it is that you do is there's an art to it. So, but for me, I would be in my head a lot, thinking about what I want to do when I'm older, thinking about imaginary things of like, I thought that I could think my way into happiness, basically. Oh, if I could just fill my mind with this, or people will say think positive, or all kind of stuff, and I was suffering and I didn't even know it. But now that I'm like waking up out of that, and I'm learning that I need to just be present at all times and just be and exist. And the big thing about it is that life is simple, because you either have love or you don't, and it's really so easy. Like on Facebook, somebody was like talking about, it was probably an atheist or something, saying that morality is just based on philosophies, you know, people. And I'm like, dude, to me, it's like morality is something that's written in our hearts, and if we're all intellectual in our heads about what it is and what's right and what's wrong, like we can't plan, like I can't say what's right or wrong in a rhetorical, hypothetical situation. I only know what's right or wrong in that moment when it happens, based on what's around me, what's the circumstances of it. And when I live that way, and I'm not like trying to, scheme and plan in my head about how I'm going to, do the right thing all the time, because I don't know what the right thing is. And every situation is a different right thing, you know? Like someone will be like, well, it's not the right thing to kill someone, right? But hey, if the if it calls for it, it might be the right thing. You don't know. Not to say you're just going to go murder someone, but if someone's going to break into your house and hurt your family or do something, like, is it the wrong thing to kill that person? No. You don't know, and I think life has all those kind of things in there where depending on the situation, you don't know what's going to be right or what's wrong. And yeah, you can't intellectualize it. Why do all these comments disappear when I go on here? This guy's still running his mouth. He's angry. Put user on timeout. You're on timeout. How about that? I'm doing this on my phone, so I don't know how to do it. What's up, Kanang? I should have really did this on my computer. That's why the Bible says thou shalt not murder, not kill. For sure. Yeah, man, life is so simple because you either have love or you have hate. And I used to think that I could, love one person and hate another person. And it was all about my ego, because I was basically thinking that I was better than this person over here because of whatever it was that they did. And I just lacked understanding. I didn't know where they came from. I didn't know why they became who they were. And now that I really can see clearly that it's such a spiritual battle, that people are angry and they're controlled, they're hypnotized by the world and they don't even know it. And they're dead inside, and it's crazy. Like this whole coronavirus thing, right? It hit me. It's kind of funny because it's like, say everyone's getting coronavirus, right? Nobody's going to care what your race is, what your nationality is, or they're just, the only thing they're going to care about is if you're infected or you're not. They're like, oh shit, he's not affected? Cool, he's with us, right? And so I see it now as like anger and love and hate is the same exact thing. And that's the real virus that's been spreading around for so long, is angry people and people that have love and that aren't angry. And they're infected. So it's just funny. It was funny to me. Everyone's all afraid when Corona beers kill more people than coronaviruses. What will they try and call common cold now? Yeah, I don't know. No super. I gotta figure out how to do super chats. I don't know how to do super chats. It's probably in my settings. I gotta just take the time to do it, to go on there and figure it out. But yeah. I went to bed super late last night. I went to bed at like 4 in the morning because I was working on music and just chilling. I wasn't tired, and so I slept in. And it's 1. I got up at like noon, and I haven't had coffee or anything. I don't have any water here, so I couldn't make it. I gotta get some water. How's it go? I haven't had any coffee all day. How's it go? This was a song I started making. I gotta finish it. Love is the answer to find. heal all of mankind. Anywhere you go, everywhere you go, it don't matter where you are, someone out there's where you are. You might just be a shooting star, so be a bright light in the dark. But yeah, has a song you and Anomaly been released? No, I'm actually been working on that song. I got a song I'm doing with him. A few songs. It's just taken a long time to get them done because he's doing his thing. He's trying to make money in his life. I'm trying to make money in mine, and so our schedules have to line up for us to be able to get in and work on it because it's really just out of love of wanting to just make something together. Um, how can if I turn it sideways and stick it straight up your candy ass? Trying to just get out of there for a sec. So I could read, man. I can't read. It's all bright. And this camera's over here. Can I flip it the other way or is it going to be insane? Because the chat's right here, so I got to look at the chat. And then it looks like I'm not looking at you guys. But I guess you don't care. I don't know where the super chat function is. But I appreciate you guys asking and being concerned about sending me whatever it is you were about to send me. I think I got to do it on my computer at one point. So I can add moderators. I'm trying to figure out what to do on here. Because you can't figure it out unless you're live. And then once you're live, you can see what the features are in here, at least on mobile version. Kevin, what's cracking? How did you end up getting banned on Instagram? I have no idea. They never told me. They just said, you're banned for a month. And then that was it. And I was like, and I messaged them too. I was like, why am I banned? They never replied. I went to their Instagram. Instagram's Instagram. But it's pretty lame. No Manly Cars was killer, bro. Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's funny because Jesse, there's things about Jesse that makes it so easy to make remixes. One is that he's in a studio and it's quiet and he gets good recordings of his voice on a nice microphone, and that's a huge factor. And then all the phrases he says naturally, they're already songs. I don't really do much. All I do is because it's like in songwriting I realized too, and Jesse's helped me realize about all areas of my life is you wait and see and it's revealed, right? And don't play God and all that stuff. And in the beginning I was super conflicted with it because I was like, well, I create music. I was like, I gotta play God. I gotta discern right and wrong, and this sounds good or that sounds good. And I realized that it's not about planning. I got like a hair in my face. It's not about planning what you're gonna do to make the dopest thing or whatever. It's about just taking on what's in front of you, and it starts with, geez, this light is insane. It starts with like when I make music, I'm gonna open up the piano, right, or a sound, and then it's basically binary thinking. I just think yes or no, and that's it. I open up a sound, and I'm like, is that a cool sound? yes or no. And I just basically go off of what I feel. And then it starts, with one note on the piano. Is this a good note? Yes or no? I just play stuff. But I'm not thinking about it as I'm doing it. I'm just kind of just going along with it. And it's like life, music and life has taught me so much because it all leaks into each other. There's order to music. You don't just create harmony on accident. And if you look close enough, it's all math. And it's interesting because I'm learning about how life has spiritual order just like the physical things, but it's different, and that's the God in Christ, Christ in man, woman, children. Love comes from above and comes down, and because man was created in God's image and he's logical, and it's in a woman's nature to be emotional, and it all makes just so much sense to me. Because if you love what's right and love nothing else, then by default you're going to give love to people around you. And so when I've been creating, like, those remixes with Jesse, or anything in general, like Jesse's voices, the phrases and things that he says, they write themselves. Because if you notice, like like words and stuff, they have rhythms to them, and they have syllables, and they already say what they're gonna say. Say what they're gonna say. Say what they're gonna say. It's like it all just makes itself. So Jesse says no manly cars, right? No manly cars. Like that's that. Or you could say no manly cars. But Jesse didn't say it like that. So I've learned to just take things on as it comes, and then figure out what makes it work. Distraction is the root of all failure, and emotion is the heart of every distraction. Distraction is the root of all failure, and emotion is the heart of every distraction. Oh, that's absolutely true. My that 90 and Going More songs fire. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. That was one of the first, not the first, but first batch of songs I made for Jesse. Ireland has its music as a bond community. These chats just keep disappearing. Ireland has its music as a bond, a community building exercise. Do you think that's why the enemy gave us a flaming gay cowboy because the bluegrass is so bonding? It's just interesting, man, how we're in this time, like before computers and everything, people would blame on the problems of people saying there was a lack of information. But now everybody's got all kind of information in front of them, and it's not helping. Knowledge and information isn't helping. It really has to do with that identity stuff, man. We have all these identity issues with people these days. It's because people are seeking outwardly for their identity and they want to be somebody. And I'm thankful that I never really, was deep into that kind of thing. And I had both my parents, and they had their issues, and there was anger and emotions, but I was still raised with. This is how I see it. Like my parents, my mom's side of the family, they were not living, like her parents were not living. So my generation is that my mom would speak the truth, but she wasn't a living example. So actually stimulated and things as opposed to actually knowing how to be it. But I have understanding because I know, your parents don't come, they come from somewhere, and their parents came from somewhere, and it's just a generational trap that you just get stuck in. And I aim to break the generational trap that was in my family, so that I can, I don't have any kids, and I'm not married, I don't have a girlfriend or nothing like that. And I'm thankful for it because it's given me time to be able to really be by myself, figure out what's going to work for me in my life. I'm not going to say figure out what I want, because I don't know what I want. I know that I have the gift of music, and I know that I want to seek to do the right thing, but I can't plan on doing the right thing. I know that I don't want to judge myself. I don't want to judge other people. Um, I just want to take on what I got to do, and I know that God puts things in front of me that are going to be the challenge that I'm ready for, and Yeah, that's pretty much it, I guess. Phone just closed up on me. SM58 vocal micro. Sure, SM50. Oh, 7B. I don't know why I read. I'm all dyslexic. Information is just information. Does Rogan put foot powder on his head? I have no idea. That's hilarious. Hit that Rogan's up if you guys can. That's funny. Shure makes pretty good microphones. Sure, I have a SM58. That's why I thought of it. But it's a live microphone. I use that for performing live. I need to get a new condenser microphone though, for sure. I've had the same microphone since I was like 17. It was the first microphone I ever got. I got it for Christmas, and I still have that same microphone. It's crazy. But people ask me, well, where do you record your vocals on? How do you get your vocals to sound good? I guess I've just. It's not about. It's if it goes in like crap, it's coming out like crap. You can't bank on the microphone. You'll get a nice quality recording of crap. Do you write lyrics first or after hearing the beat's melody? Oh, I definitely don't write lyrics first. But what I have done and I do is I've learned to my dad just texted me, so I got distracted. Distractions are what the root of failure. What was the question? I feel like I smoked weed and I didn't. Oh, do I write lyrics first? No. But what I've learned is if you're going to drive somewhere, you got to know where you're going. And then the journey and the routes don't, that's up to you. You could figure out which way you want to go. So with songwriting and stuff, I've learned that um I have a song called Chivalry is Dead that got really popular, and I wanted to write a song called Chivalry is Dead. And I knew that. And then as soon as I knew that I wanted to write that song, I wrote it. And it was so easy because I had direction. I knew where I was going to go, and I knew where I was going to start. Like once you see the end. And I think that's what it is about being revealed because like you think every thought is a lie and thoughts are not real and stuff. But when you see an outcome of something and it makes it so much easier. It's not a thought, it's a knowing. And that's kind of what happens, I feel like, with songs is you could write a song about anything, and writer's block is really a scam. It's not real. There's no such thing as writer's block. You could write about anything, literally anything. These Jesse remixes will prove that. You could say just pick one word and then make a whole song based around it. Do lyrics emerge of emotional stimulation or come from feeling of the beats? No, lyrics, no. I think lyrics come from, for me, they come from just like imagination or it's like math. Where do you get numbers from? You're like, oh, 1 + 1 is 2, 2 + 2 is 4. And lyrics are the same thing. Is connecting and creating something that means something, and because math means something, right? It means it's an equation that is absolute. So when I write songs and stuff, I've always written songs from a place of what if. I've never really been too emotionally involved in my songwriting, even though I grew up in a crazy emotional household and stuff. But I never got into like, I'm really feeling this and I'm gonna write this. I just thought like, well, if I was in the situation, like I put myself in a situation and then I just start imagining that I'm there. And what is it? What's happening? And then I write it. If that makes sense. So sequential emergence is the structure of math and meaning in export. It's all intellectual. The circumference of the triangle is the additional. Do lyrics emerge? Oh, are you going to ask me that? I started to think of song lyrics based on Jesse's weekly biblical questions. Nice. Yeah, like I remember I used to like blame inspiration and writer's block on, my excuse was that because I just didn't want to make a song. But anytime I just started doing it, like if I didn't feel like making music or writing a song and I was dreading doing it, if I just sat down and started just getting my hands active making music, all of a sudden all this energy came and inspiration, and it just came out of nowhere, like birthed the inspiration. It wasn't because I just sat there and waited for it, you know? Geez, it is legal to change words completely to a song but use the same song otherwise? No. I mean, these days, I don't know what the laws are as far as that kind of thing goes with covers and YouTube and stuff like that. But how music really is that you have, there's all different kinds of sides to music. There's the lyric and melody side, which is the lyrics and the melodies, and that's 50% of a song. And then the other 50% is the music composition. So all the music that you're hearing is music composition, right? So those two pies create 100%. So, you know, a lot of songwriters and stuff, like the big songwriters and people that work on, you know, big projects and stuff like that, there's usually like 5 to 10 to 15 writers per song, and they're all just getting little percentages of the 50% side, which is the lyric and melody side. And whoever made the music is has the composition side. So that's 50% over here. And those two pies are completely separate from the master recording, right? Because the whole game of a label is that we're going to give you money, and but we're going to own your master, right? Because the master is the recording of the song. So whoever puts up the budget to record that song and spends the money on it is really who put up for the masters, which is why I'm not a fan of that. I don't want to give up my masters. I want to write and make my own music so that I can have ownership of it. And yeah, you know, I don't understand everything about that stuff, but I understand enough to know that you don't get money from Tunes, Apple Music, or other streaming companies, right? No, I do. I do get money from that. I get performance money because there's different monies. There's monies for performance, which is if you're just an artist. Say you didn't write a song, say you didn't perform the song. No, say you didn't write the song, you didn't produce the song. All you are is the singer. You know, you just sang the song. You still get paid as a performer. So every time that song streams, there's a little piece of money there for you for performing it, which is why I'm able to survive in my life making music, is because I'm self-contained, and I want to keep that going. And I'm blessed and thankful that I can do it. You know, because a lot of songwriters or artists, they need a songwriter or they need a producer. And so they got all these hurdles of relying on other people to make things happen for them. And so I'm like, you know, in a good position because I don't have to rely on anybody. I can produce a song, I can write a song, and I can sing a song. And you know, the part that I want to get better at is my my business skills and being able to say what I want and what I'm worth and all those things. And because and that's the hard part for me is that, so, you know, for a long time I'd feel like an asshole or something because I, you know, put this fee or this price, and people are like, what? And it's like, how I do it now is I based off of what's the most I've ever been paid, and that's the rate, that's my rate, and I just keep building it, right? And so for performances and stuff like that, when it comes to offers and stuff like that, I always tell people that, well, this is how much I get paid, but what's your budget? And I like to work with people, and if it makes sense, it makes sense. But if it doesn't, then it doesn't. You know, I gotta look out for myself first and foremost, and it's not selfish. It's just reality. You know, it's my job. It's like any other person. Just because I enjoy it and it's an art doesn't mean that it's not, it's just as valuable as being a doctor or anything else, as far as maintaining my own life and being able to, provide for myself. Like I want to be able to make enough money to buy a house one day, or have a family and be able to provide and actually, be able to do all those things. Because I mean, right now I'm able to keep my head above water and have a place. LA is just so expensive, but I don't want to just sit and stay in this kind of life, like just by myself. I want to build it and be able to grow it so that I can elevate, and then I can have more experience in that, because I don't want to be a victim, and I don't want to be somebody who feels entitled, you know, and is like, "Oh, I'm talented," and pissed off at the world, like, "Oh, I should be this or that," and all that stuff. I know that I get what I deserve, and I'm in this place right now in LA because I deserve to be here, and that's great. And I want to always have that outlook in life so that I can continue to grow and not miss something. Because as soon as I get in my head and I start getting my ego and thinking that I deserve this or that, or I've been through this, by now I should have this, like I just suffer, and I miss something along the way that's gonna tell me, what's right in front of me. I'm gonna miss. So I don't want to be that way. By go, you know the thing. Next banger. I'm trying to read. Get you that living wage. I know, right? You perform at weddings? I mean, yeah, I perform wherever I get hired. I don't discriminate against anything. If people got cash and can pay me to come out, then I'm down. Like I just got booked for this gig in Florida in a couple of months. I got hit up to perform at an event, which is super awesome. And every so often I get hit up from people on social media online for private events or whatever it is. It's funny because LA, like I don't get calls in LA from really anybody anymore, and that's okay. I'm not tripping. I'm not gonna go run out there and kiss people's ass and try to act like I'm everybody's friend so that they'll hire me. Oh yeah, I want to go where I'm loved, but where I'm going, anywhere I go, I got love to give. But I used to suffer because I would, I had an expectation. I thought that because I had love for other people, that they deserved to have their love back, or loyalty, or friendship, or whatever it was. And that was the problem that I had. And now that I don't have anger, I'm not pissed off, or I was never really a pissed off person, but I had subconscious blameful nature, and I got it from my mama, and I blamed myself, or I blamed other people, the industry, whatever, certain things, and it was just holding me back. So I never want to blame. I just want to go and identify those that get it and those that don't, and not resent or hate them, but just know that they're not in on the path. And that's how I find God's path. God puts me in line with being able to recognize the right path, and it's not my path. I got to take on what comes my way, and if it seems like it makes sense, then I'm gonna do it. I can't just try to create excuses in my head if I don't want to do something. Reciprocal isn't the way, always the way emotions flow. No way. You're elevating through it all, though. No, for sure. I'm always growing, and I'm thankful for that because I seek to grow. I've suffered in my life a lot, and I'm really thankful for that. What's interesting is I realized that, like, before, when like I had a manager and everything like that, it's like everything was so easy, and I was, because I was living in a daydream. I didn't really have the awareness that I needed to have, where I was, everything was taken care of for me. It was like, and it was easier. And so now that I'm like, I've done the forgiveness thing, and I don't have anger, I don't hate anybody, and I'm separating myself from thoughts, and I'm getting to know who I am, which is nothing. Because because we build our identity off of the thoughts that we tell ourselves. Oh, this or that. Oh, yeah. And I'm just, it's life is a lot better when I don't have an opinion about stuff. You know, you enjoying the heightened discernment. No, no, actually, that's what I was trying to get to. Is that it's weird because I find myself not being judgmental, more judgmental, but just more aware and observant. And like when I go to the store, especially where I live, it's just like I could just see the zombie apocalypse happening. Like everybody's like a zombie. And but I'm not like I joke around a lot like with my buddies and stuff. Like I talk shit, and I love that because I think nobody takes it personal. But I think that that's healthy. It's healthy to call each other out and correct each other in a lighthearted, funny way. And if you can laugh and grow at the same time, then I think that's where it's at. And one day, when I have a family, or if I have a family, that's the way it's gonna be. It's gonna be laughter and correction, and just be, and don't take things personal. Do you live in LA? I do, but I've been looking to see if there's any other options because I pay $1,400 a month and I don't have a kitchen. And I was just looking like LA. LA isn't really. It's more of an idea in my head that right around the corner there's going to be some awesome opportunity, and they do come. But as I'm waiting for these opportunities, I'm spending my money in not a very smart way. When like I was looking in Dallas, Texas, and I could get like a 3-bedroom house for what I pay here. 2-3 bedroom, depending on where you look. But I'm like, dude, like if I get a better place or I spend less, I could buy more equipment. I can put my focus in the things that are just going to empower me to be self-contained and only rely on myself, because I have to get in the mindset of an employer. I can't be an employee. And a lot of the musician friends that I've made and people I know around town, they all have an employee mentality. They're waiting for the call. And I really want to get in that place to where I'm just making the calls, where I see, like I said earlier, like an outcome, and I see it possible, and it's like absolute outcome, and then I make the calls to make that outcome happen, and that's what I want to be able to do, and I know that I can do that, but it's a process for me to just be able to get there, but I can see that outcome for myself, and I know it's coming. Move to Florida, check it out when you go to do your concert. I will check it out. Florida's hot as shit, though. I've been there. I've been to like Miami a couple times. One good thing about Miami was that you don't ever have to iron your clothes. You just go outside, and then all your shit is pressed because of the humidity. Wherever I go, I don't want to be anywhere too hot. That's the only thing about Texas. Like, you can see my skin. I'll burn. I'll die. The Dog Runner. Keep up the good work, buddy. We love you. I appreciate it. Thank you for the support. It's nice to be able to come on here and just have friends on here. Especially because I've been speaking out, coming into who I am, and following the path that I'm on. And all the people that I've known for 10 years. Like, I don't hear from anybody anymore. Nobody. And it's okay. But, I live alone. And it's cool to hop on the live and just find people that are like-minded, that are, want to do what's right in the world, and just, that just get it, man. And I'm not, judging and saying that other people are doing it wrong or this or that. But, I mean, it's absolutely they are. I can't force you to be right. He white. Yep. What if you move somewhere much cheaper, like in the East Coast, and focus on creating music content for YouTube? No, that's what's up. That's what I want to do. It's just, dude, this is my home, man. I grew up here. I grew up in LA and in the Valley in Orange County. Like, it's just California. And so there's something about, like, I don't know, it's just keeping me here because I'm torn because it's like, if people always ran away, then they would just, the everybody else would follow and it would be a takeover. Uh so there's something keeping me here. I don't know what it is, but I know um I don't want to just run away. I'm trying to make a difference out here in whichever way I can, and making a difference doesn't mean donating to charities and doing all the things that the world tries to tell you to do. Making a difference to me is just going out into the world and being a light, you know, speaking up and talking to people. Like, I talk to strangers all the time. I'm always talking to people, and some people don't. They're off-putted by it. You can tell in their energy that they're just like, oh, yeah. It's like kids, man. Like, it's kids have that light on, that they're innocent, and they just say the truth. They're like, hey, what's that on your face? Like, and people hate that. They don't like that. The honest kid that's gonna, like, just be innocent and true and say what's true. And that's where that's where I feel like I'm at right now, as I'm coming back to being that kid that sees things and says it, and people aren't liking it, but that's okay. They're the only ones that suffer. I realize that people that are angry and easily controlled by what people say, and that are, in by their environment, they're hypnotized. They're subject to me. And that's something that trips me out, because I'm like, it's like I go out, and people are so affected negatively by certain things about me or whatever it is that's going on in their head, and I realize that they are my subjects. And that also is a responsibility for me too. Is that, like, I don't want to be, uh, how you say, I don't want to sugarcoat. I don't want to, tiptoe around other people's emotions, because that's what they all want out here. Is they want you to just, like, be compassionate, be, thoughtful of other people's feelings. Meanwhile, you sacrifice the truth about things, and you let them, and you just let them keep believing their lies. When you just point out the truth, it's crazy, man. I don't want to be shaped and molded into what other people say I should be. I want to just be, and then develop the way I'm supposed to develop on my own, in my own time. As each thing is revealed in my life, I'm able to learn something from that and whoa, gather what I need to gather, and not think about it. It's not like I'm storing it intellectually, like, okay, that one time I did this and then I'll do that. Like people that are like, oh, my girlfriend cheated on me, so I don't trust girls anymore. It's not about that. It's about taking people as individuals and being an open door. If you're an open door, then you can walk in and walk out. And that's the same thing words should be, like, or people, or anybody, people. I'm open, but I'm not the kind of open that most people would think, where it's like I'm open about sharing my weaknesses and all that stuff. I don't think that's smart, because people's nature is to judge. And so that's what resonates me with too about being conservative, is that I can conserve my own issues, my problems, my weaknesses, conserve them for myself, so it's between me and God, and that I can figure it out. Because anytime I've ever shared all my problems, or any problems, especially with a girlfriend, or people that I don't know, or Facebook is basically a girl, so you don't do that, especially as a man. Don't do it. Don't share your problems on there. I like to share my testimonies. I like to share how I've overcome something, so that I can help somebody. But the whole epidemic of being weak and sharing how you're in this problem and help me, donate, send me super chats. I don't want to be like that. I just want to be powerful in my life. as I rant and ramble on. Passionate, you will be the way. I can't read what those emojis are. Here's a tough question. How do you feel about songs like That Was Though now that you are more spiritually mature? This thing is insane. Just made me lose my spot. Here's a tough question. How do you feel about songs like That Was Though? Oh, are you saying that ass though? I don't feel anything. I don't regret anything, man. I made everything I've ever made or done. That was where I was at. And I'm not proud and I'm not regretful. I'm nothing. It's just, it is what it is. You know, I think that it's a story, you know, and that's what matters. Now, when if I do an interview or I talk to somebody or I share, because I've had people pull up and be like, oh, they try to use it against me, like that ass though video I made, right? And it's like, so what? That was what, 3 or 4 years ago. That's great. I learned a lot making that video, and I had a lot of fun doing it too. It was awesome. But it's like I wouldn't make that video again, you know. So it's like people don't want you to be able to grow. They want you to do to be who they want you to be. That's what I realize, is that people want you to be them. And if you're not going to be them, then they don't like you. Like, you got to agree with what they say, and you got to do like what they like. It's like that's how people pick their friends nowadays. It's like, and even me, like, I gravitate towards people that they don't have to have the same interests as me. They don't have to believe the same things as me. But one thing that the thread that ties it in for people to be in my circle that's close is people that love what's right in life. People that get that. People that have a moral code in their heart. They have a compass to where they can know what right and wrong is. And the thing about right and wrong, I'm realizing is that you can't plan what's right and what's wrong. You can't say what's right and what's wrong until you're in the moment. But it's a heart thing. It's a spiritual thing. And I sense it and I recognize it with people. The people that have anger, people that are pissed off or angry or blameful or any of those things, they don't have a good moral compass because it's all diluted and skewed from their emotional anger. They can't, and so that's what I realize, man. That's why I call this life is simple, because it is. It's just it's like I always say this, but computers are created off of binary code, ones and zeros. It's like it's either on or it's off, and I'm living my life that way now, where if I'm in a situation or it's pulling myself out of my thoughts and being like, whoa, I'm drifting off into a thought right now, and pulling myself out of it, and just being aware of that. And as I do that, I notice that it's training me to just stay present and be able to just be more aware of myself. I could not be prouder. The great white hope. It does. It really comes from God, man. And people think of God as this man in the sky. They've intellectualized what God is, and that they don't really understand God. Like they get caught up on the word God. Even they're like, God. What is God? It's like people who read the Bible, and they read the Bible when they're not ready to read the Bible, right? Like I didn't grow up reading the Bible, and I'm thankful for it because I haven't internalized and interpreted it and intellectually thought of it as what it is. And now that I got the Bible app and I open it up and I read certain things, like I could read a phrase in there, and that hits me, like God to me speaks in so many different ways, and God's voice is, it's not tangible. God's voice is not a sound. It's not it's a knowingness. It's a little ding that happens inside where you're like, you just know. And it happens when I read certain things, when people say certain things, and that's what guides me to find friends with people and build that closeness with people, is is that I hear God through their voice. You know, God speaking, and they might not even be aware of it. Or, you know, I read something, and or you know, I don't know, man. I don't know how to really define it because I can't. And I think that everybody's interpretation or voice, it's like you know, if you work at a bank and you have a special safe that it only opens from your voice, right? I feel like that's how God is with all of us, you know, that He has that I'm a safe and only God's voice can open it. And so when I'm out in the world and I hear God's voice, it opens up the safe and I'm like, boom. Then they're able to, you know, access the gold. And it's awesome. But you know, when you grow up with your parents or people that are religious or whatever, they get beaten over the head with this idea of God, and I can't say that I can define God. You know, I can't define God. I can't. But I know God. You know, that's the trip. I know God, but I cannot define it. I cannot define it. It's awesome. But anyways, I'm glad that I came on here for a little bit. I felt the urge to hop on here. I got banned on Instagram for who knows what, but I'll be back on Instagram to go live on March 11th this month. Yeah. But I should be on here on YouTube anyways because I have monetizable videos on here, and Instagram is worthless. It's worthless. But I appreciate you guys for coming on here and showing the support and hanging out. So much love, and I'm gonna keep making music. I got more music I'm working on. I got a project I'm working on with my buddy Anomaly, Dream Rare, and I got a project I'm working on by myself. And I just got a bunch of songs, and I'm just navigating to figure out the best way to put it out and to do it, you know. But I'm looking forward to it. So thank you guys, and much love. Now, how the hell do I end this? I don't know how to end it. There's no option. How do you end it? Oh, I just hit the X.